If you are like most people, you probably think you do not have time to declutter and that you're going to be stuck with your clutter indefinitely. Today, I'm going to show you how I regularly ditch 50 items that we no longer need in a matter of minutes. When I started decluttering our home over 6 years ago, I used to think that decluttering meant I had to set aside a certain time, I had to have all my boxes ready. It was this big chore that I had to set aside an hour or two at a time to deal with. And I was so wrong. Once I started making decluttering part of our everyday routines instead of this focused, time-sucking chore that loomed over me, I was able to make so much more progress with way less effort. I now declutter while I'm making dinner, when I'm putting away something new that we just got, when I'm cleaning, when I'm doing our morning routine, when we're doing our bedtime routine. The other shortcut that's an absolute game changer is our donation station, or simply just a designated spot in our home that holds all of our items before they leave our house. Because of these two habits, which I have now been doing for several years, this morning I was able to just open our closet or our donation station, pull everything out, sort through it in a matter of minutes, and toss it all in the car ready for donate. Yes, technically the decluttering part happened, days or weeks ago. However, even those decisions were made in a matter of minutes or seconds and required almost no effort. I am going to show you what I'm getting rid of today to demonstrate exactly what I mean and how I did it. There is a good chance that you've heard of the decluttering rule 1 in, 1 out. So for every item you bring in, you get rid of something so that you sort of kind of keep clutter at bay. This first item is a perfect example of it. So my husband has been wearing the same work uniform for 15 years. He's an electrician. He just recently got a new job, and this job is an office job. So he's now going to be like working in the office, wearing office-y clothes and whatever men wear in offices. When Scott finished his last day of his old job, he just walked downstairs, took his giant pile of uniforms and put them directly in the donation station. 18 items just like that out of our house. This next item was actually a gift for my daughter's birthday last month. She just turned 7. She actually loved it. It's a marker maker. It's like this little kit where you can actually make your own markers. And as soon as the party ended, both she and Leo, my son, they just like jumped right in and spent like 2 hours making markers. Great gift. However, after we were done making the markers, you have this giant, I'm going to show you, big sort of like, base for how we made the markers. And so once you're done making the markers, all the supplies are gone. However, you still have this kind of like marker making machine. I actually researched whether I could buy like more supplies, still use it and still making markers. However, I could not find anything. So he leaves us with this and nothing to really do with it. I'm on the fence whether I'm gonna throw it out or donate it. I thought maybe a kid could kind of use it for their own little crafting supplies or some sort of storage area. I would love to hear your take. Would you donate it or would you just toss it out? I'm on the fence about it. We are now up to 19 items. Next up is a set of hand weights. In this season of life, I do all of my workouts at home. These are a set of 2.5 pound weights. When I found them, I'm like, you know what, that's better than nothing. I will keep them until I find something heavier. So fast forward a couple of weeks ago, I was able to find a set of 5 pound weights at the thrift store. So I quickly grabbed them. In the back of my mind, I knew that I would just walk in, walk home, and put these right in our donation station. Another great example of 1 in, 1 out, or 2 in, 2 out. Next up is a giant pile of kids' clothes. If you watch my videos regularly, you might think, wow, Marianne buys a lot of kids' clothes. However, that's not the case, but we do get a ton of hand-me-downs, which I am eternally grateful for. However, if you also receive hand-me-downs, whether it's for your kids or for yourself or for anything that you get in your house, you know that there is a very, very small chance you're actually gonna use every single item that you receive. Every single item that I'm letting go of for kids' clothes in this sort of like declutter haul were all decisions made either part of our routine, so sometimes like in our morning routine when the kids are getting dressed, or sometimes when I'm doing when we're doing our laundry routine and I'm putting clothes away. The other scenario when I would be decluttering these is when the hand-me-downs actually come in like initially. I have a grow into bin for each of the kids, which is a very strict limit on how much I can keep. So when I'm putting away those hand-me-downs in the grow into bin, I try to be very, very like ruthless and only keep what I know for sure we're actually going to use. And anything that doesn't sort of like make the cut goes directly into our donation station. Another 18 items out the door. Another category that we let go of regularly is called Our parents gave us better stuff, i.e. we already had an existing item, however, they give us like their hand-me-downs or gift us something new that's an upgrade, and then we get rid of the existing one we had. A few weeks ago, we were at a family dinner and my mom found out that we didn't have a proper set of steak knives. Like, how dare we? So a few days later, I come home and there on our kitchen counter is a proper set of steak knives. So as I was putting away the new steak knives, I found 3 random steak knives that we did have in our house. I just grabbed those as I was putting the new ones and I wrapped them up and put them right in my donation station. Once again, it requires almost no effort and 3 more items out the door. Another item my mom recently gave us was her old hair dryer. It is the nicest hair dryer I've definitely ever owned. It feels like when I'm blow drying with it, it actually feels like I'm like a hairstylist. I tried it, I'm like, yes, I love it. I put it into our cupboard or in our bathroom and I grabbed the old one and just put it directly into our donation station. These Valentine's Day glasses. Honestly, I have no recollection of where these even came from. I'm guessing that on Valentine's Day when the kids came home from school and they are like overflowing with treats from kids and little gifts and like little dollar store things just like this, I was probably in like rage decluttering mode and probably grabbed these and knew that my kids would just destroy them, so I put them into the donation station hoping that someone else might be able to use them. If I don't even remember decluttering it, that's a good chance it didn't require much brain power. A week or so ago, I was in Leo's room and I was putting away all of our new library books and I couldn't fit all of them in. And I noticed that he still had a pile of Archies that he had received as a Christmas gift. So I yelled, "Hey Leo, are you done with these Archies?" And he said, "Yeah, done them all, good to go." So I knew, perfect. I just pull these stack of Archies out. It fit now. All of our library books fit in perfectly and I know someone else can use these. A great example of how creating those limits controlled how much we kept and prevented us from like drowning in Archies and books. A few days ago, I was tidying up our kids' toys, just putting everything into the toy basket, and I happened to notice that there still was a little dress-up dress of Annie Rose's that she probably got when she was, 3 years old or something like that, and she used it for years, but I know she hasn't touched it in a very long time. So I said, "Hey Annie Rose, does this dress still fit you?" And she said, "Oh no, that's way too small for me. You can pass it on." Perfect. Bam. Something worth noting on this particular item is that I would say probably 6 weeks ago, I noticed this dress and I said, "Hey Annie Rose, do you still wear this? Do you still care about this dress?" And she said, "Of course I still care about this. I love that dress. We're definitely not getting rid of it. We need to keep it." Perfect, fine. I just tossed it in the toy bin and carried on my day. Fast forward to a few days ago when I asked her again, and when I asked, "Does it fit you?" And her reaction was completely different than the first time I asked. So who knows whether it was the way I phrased the question, or it was the way the wind was blowing that day, or maybe it was because she had a little while to subconsciously or consciously kind of ponder that item. I love this reminder for when we are working with our partners, our kids, our family members, or even when we're kind of working with ourselves, that sometimes it takes a minute. We need to ponder sort of in the back of our heads before we actually pull the trigger. When we work with clients, we will have an entire table or room or, the floor is filled with item and decisions that they have to make. And a lot of times we'll get like a really good flow and they're making decisions really quickly and you can tell they feel really confident, and then they'll hit a specific item and they're just like kind of freeze. Like they just feel very unsure, and I can tell. And most of the time I say, "You know what? Let's just pause. Let's put this one item to the side and we can decide that later." And sometimes we go back to it an hour or two later and they say, "You know what? I don't know what I was thinking. You can get rid of it." And sometimes they say, "You know what? Right now, although it doesn't sound like logical, I just want to hang on to that for a bit longer." And that is totally fine too. Don't let one sticky point or one sticky weird item and make you stop completely. We want progress, but we also want to give ourselves grace when needed. Next up is another gift that Annie Rose received for her birthday. However, unfortunately, we got one that was just a little bit too young for her. So I carefully tore out like the first few pages that she had worked on, and otherwise it's in like perfect condition. So I'm very excited to donate this. I know it will be perfect for another kid. I know gifts can be a very hard category for a lot of people. So I really encourage you, if no one's using it, regardless of where it came from or whether it was a gift, someone in the world can probably use it. There you have it, 50 items out of our house in less time than it took for you to watch this video. And you guys can absolutely do this too. Decluttering does not have to be this huge, overbearing, looming, stressful task. By incorporating it into our everyday lives and then having a spot to toss our items until we're ready to donate or drop off, things become so much easier and so much faster. I encourage you to today, even just one moment of your day while you're doing your normal everyday routine, is there one area you could say, oh man, like why do we have this many toothbrushes in the bathroom? Why am I still hanging on to this crock pot that I never use? Once you start, it becomes so much easier to keep going. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.